These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Frank 26 article quote, "Central bank changing the exchange rate will destroy the economy," unquote. Frank says this is true but misunderstood. There's a difference between changing the exchange rate and a gradual change, and that is exactly what the CBI is talking to the citizens about. They don't say they're going to change the exchange rate. They're telling the Iraqi citizens there will be a gradual change in the exchange rate. Samson article quote, "A new currency will be introduced soon. What is the economic feasibility of it?" Quote, "Iraq intends to introduce a new currency on the market soon." The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Mustafa Ghalib Mukef, revealed an intention to present a banknote of 20,000 dinars while confirming that the bank has a project on raising zeros from the currency, but it needs to issue a law, especially since deleting zeros affects the trade balance. Mark Z via PDK, let's start with Iraq. CBI discusses electronic payments in Iraq, unquote. Mark Z says they are still well within their window as we watch them work on things. They're continuing to move forward with economic reforms, the white papers, and banking changes. Today we were supposed to have a parliament presented. I am waiting on details. My last update was they were supposed to present today and put it into effect on Monday of next week. Walking Stick via Frank 26, they're trying to squeeze Maliki into the political scene of Iraq as prime minister because it's a back door to get him back into the GUI, into finances. Why? Because he has never held the deputy prime minister position before. All this political BS has nothing to do with the monetary reform except for the need for a seated government. Pimpy says, if you remember, there was an article, it was expected that Iraq would lock in the rate that we have now, 1450 dinars for every $1 for 5 years. With this new government taking over, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the first step you're going to see, at the very least, is a reinstatement of the 1190 dinars for every $1. Mark Z via PDK, there is no free flow of bond dollars yet. All the bond folks are still excited. Redemption Center folks, as of yesterday afternoon, believe this will be extra busy work week next week. This is very exciting because they had not been given a good solid update in quite a while. All right, Breitling question, what's the latest out of the Central Bank of Iraq? Breitling says the Central Bank of Iraq is pushing legislature and banks to be SWIFT compliant. That's it. The language coming out of the CBI. They have one goal and one goal only. Remember, at the very beginning, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Planning, and Parliament went to the CBI and said, can you manage and get our currency back to around the $3 range? Then all four of those entities went to the IMF and said, is there a path to where we can get our currency back to $3 plus? It has never changed. Militiaman article, quote, "Deputy for the law, the Sudanese are facing a difficult economic test and we will press to reduce the dollar," unquote. Militiaman says the collection of signatures is being applied to pressure in reducing the exchange rate of the dollar, whereby increasing the value of the Iraqi dinar. Interesting again, the mix, the seating of the cabinet in with the exchange rate and the adoption of the oil and gas law. The needs of the citizens are front and center as the oil revenues must be distributed equally to all provinces. All very timely and to the points. Mark Z via PDK, here is a rundown of what we are hearing out of Iraq. They did not seat their government. That is now expected on Saturday, so don't panic. Bond people have not gotten full payment yet. And Frank 26 says laws required for the monetary reform. We are not waiting for the government to be formed to pass them. No, we're waiting for the new government to be formed to use all the laws that have been passed for the monetary reform. Everything is in position. And lastly, Mountain Goat, there is no other reason for not reinstating the dinar other than it is being artificially suppressed for a reason. I know with the utmost certainty that the Central Bank of Iraq cannot and will not just pop out an RV someday by total surprise at a significant rate that we want in Iraq or outside of Iraq without first completing the currency changeover from the larger 30 notes to the lower of the lower denominations and coins. It is really that simple. We know the smaller notes are printed and the coins minted.